Hello, Rupert. 6 months ago, I had never heard the word Advaita, and I was kind of smacked on the head by some intense suffering and personal loss, and was quite disoriented for some time. I'm in law enforcement, and I've always identified with the very physical, hands-on kind of policing. And almost overnight, everything seemed to change, and I was, like I say, I was very disoriented. I came to, I guess I'm coming at this backwards maybe from some people. I had no intellectual understanding of what was happening here, and I stumbled across your teaching when somebody suggested that I needed to surrender to the trauma and the loss and the pain that I had. So I didn't know how to do that, and when I found your teaching, it helped to orient me somewhat. So I'm still trying to piece together the intellectual understanding while kind of walking around in this river of peace. I don't think I've ever heard of anybody describe it before as a delicious feeling, but that's what I feel. So my question, most of the questions that I've come up with have been answered just by being quiet. Someone today, thanks Christine, taught me something that I was going to ask about the I am, kind of opening a door, and you spoke to it this morning. And I've heard you say meditation isn't what we do, it's what we are. And so when I say I am and I'm quiet, I get sometimes a lightning bolt, and most of the time just a flooding of peace. And does that intensify over time? Does it quiet down over time? Because sometimes it's almost too much. And if meditation is what I am, when I went for my walk today, I practiced trying to be that. And it was wonderful. And am I on the right track in that regard?
The short answer is yes, you're on the right track. So, but just to elaborate, the name I, or I is the name that whatever knows itself gives to itself. So, what is it in you that says I or I am? It is your essential being. It is your essential being asserting its presence. It is your being saying, I am, or I am present. So the name I, or the thought I am, is like it's like a lighthouse to a sailor on a stormy night. It indicates the place of peace, the place of safety. So the thought I, or I am, it indicates to you where to go to find your being and its innate peace, because our being is innately peaceful. Before our being is colored by experience, its nature is just peace. So when we say, I am depressed, I am lonely, I am sad, I am agitated, I am fearful, I am guilty, I am confused. In all of these experiences, the I am is present there. That's why we say, I am depressed, I am confused. But in all of these experiences, we tend to emphasize the depression, the confusion, the loneliness, the sorrow, the excitement, etc. And as a result, we neglect or overlook the presence of our own being. So in this approach, whatever we're experiencing, I am depressed, I am agitated, I am lonely, I am afraid, we emphasize the I am aspect of the experience. We don't reject the qualifying aspect, the depression, the loneliness, the fear. We just don't give it our attention. We give the I am aspect our attention, and that takes us from the feeling of depression or sorrow. It takes us deeper into our own being. It takes us to the place of peace in ourself. So, yes, you're on the right track. It's not necessary to repeat I or I am to yourself. You just take the thought once, take the thought I am, and then you allow your attention to be drawn to its referent, drawn to that which is referred to by the name I, which is your essential being. Now, for a mind that is accustomed to being lost in experience, that to begin with will feel like something that mind has to practice. The mind has to extricate itself from the depression, from the loneliness, from the fear, from the sorrow, and return, as it were, to its essence, pure being. So to begin with, it seems like a practice that the mind has to do. And this is why in the early stages we feel that meditation is a practice that we do. But in time we realize that we can't practice being ourselves. You haven't spent all of your life practicing being a man. You just feel, I am a man. I don't have to practice being a man. You had to practice being a policeman, because being a policeman is not innate in you. So being a policeman was something you had to practice, but being a man was what you felt you are. So now we realize that actually what we essentially are is not being a man or a woman or even a person. It's just this pure, aware being. So although we may, to begin with, have to extricate ourselves from experience and return to, so to speak, ourself or our essential being, in time we realize, no, I don't have to return to myself. I've never left myself. I've always been myself. Only previously myself was so mixed with experience that experience colored or clouded or obscured myself, and I overlooked myself. So to begin with, there is this feeling of returning to yourself. That's the practice of meditation. But in time you realize, I don't have to return there. It's where I naturally am. It's my home. So then meditation ceases to be something we practice. We realize it's what we are. So we no longer practice returning to ourselves. We just abide in ourself, as ourself. And if anything, we have to practice becoming a person again. That is, adding thoughts, feelings, activities, relationships to our essential being. So initially we think a person is what I am and meditation is what I do. That's fine in the early stages. But at some point there is a reversal. We realize that meditation is what I am and the person is what I do. In other words, the person is an activity of thinking and perceiving that is added to me. It is my activity, but not myself. It is, as I said this morning, being personing, or existence personing. the person, this collection of thinking, feeling, sensing and perceiving, is the activity of our essential being. But it's fine if you feel at some point that you're lost in experience, in suffering or excitement or whatever. It's fine then to trace your way back to yourself. And if that feels like something you have to do, then it's fine, do it. If it feels, to begin with, it's something you have to make an effort to do, then make the effort. Later, it will come clear to you that being yourself is actually the only thing in life that requires no effort at all. Everything else, apart from being yourself, requires effort. And there's this beautiful line in the Ashtavakra Gita, where Ashtavakra says, happiness belongs to that supremely lazy person for whom even blinking is too much trouble. That's the essence of meditation.
And I feel that experientially, because anytime the mind wants to carry me away, like the Chihuahua example yesterday, being quiet and surrendering all over again brings that feeling of peace, that delicious feeling of peace back again, more than anything.
Yes.
Certainly thinking just makes it worse. Any intellectual conversation I have with anyone seems to obscure the understanding.
Yes. The peace of your true nature, or the peace of your essential being, it only appears to be an intermittent experience for a mind that is lost in experience. For a mind that is lost in experience, it seems that the peace of our true nature becomes available from time to time. It seems to come and go amidst the drama of experience. But in fact, the peace of our true nature is always present, just behind our experience. It is actually present within, in the midst of our experience. But for this conversation, let's say, at least to begin with, we access the peace of our true nature just behind our current experience. It's always there. It sometimes seems to be obscured by experience, and then we feel it's no longer present. Then we have to go in search of it. It's not really that we have to go in search. It's not absent. It's just that it's clouded or veiled by the intensity of experience, particularly the intensity of suffering. Now, all that's necessary to do then is just go take one step further back in yourself from the suffering to your being just behind it. And that being is always peaceful. It's like the screen behind the movie. It's not really behind the movie, but for one who is lost in the drama of the movie, it is legitimate, at least to begin with, to say, notice the peaceful screen behind the drama of the movie.
Thank you.